Welcome back to my room. These are my 25 clothing essentials. I've got my rolling rack ready to go, and I'm so excited to show you guys this stuff. Now, I got into fashion as a teenager, mainly through reading GQ magazine, and I don't know if they still do it, but they used to do this thing called the 10 essentials list, and they would interview usually designers about what their 10 essential items they can't live without are. And I used to love these things because I just love the concept of having your life so streamlined that everything you're interacting with is something that's one of your favorite things. And it was really funny because a lot of the time these guys would, you could tell, kind of lie about what their essential items were. Like it would be like a work of art that they were flexing that they owned, you know, like, oh, I just have to contemplate this art before I start my day. Or it would be something that just so happened to be like super trendy that year and they just wanted to show that they were on it before anyone else, you know. So people would play those games with it, but ultimately at the end of the day, I thought it was an amazing exercise, and I've always loved the concept of just constantly editing down my wardrobe. Like I'll buy a few things, I'll test a few things out, I'll see what works best. I might even get a new version of an older thing I really loved, maybe try a different brand version of that. But the ultimate goal is always to edit down and keep things really slim. Finally, one of the stylists that I used to work with when I was an assistant stylist, he was like a mentor figure to me. And he always told me that like a really good wardrobe has just about 20 to 30 really good pieces in it, right? So you think about your wardrobe in terms of pieces. Now, for me, I'm a very minimal guy, so a lot of these are not gonna be super exciting. What I love about these things usually comes down to very specific details about like the way they fit or the way they're faded or something like that. For you, if you have a more colorful wardrobe, that's totally legitimate, but I still think having like 20 to 30 pieces gives you so many options for outfits and keeps you from being super overwhelmed and never having anything to wear. You know, but again, that's legitimate too if you want to have an overflowing closet and tons of options and just kind of throw whatever on in the morning. That's also a valid approach, right? But I still think that even if you have a very maximalist approach to getting dressed, like you love patterns and color and tons of accessories, I still think it makes sense to think like, what are my favorite items? What are the things that I can just build a ton of different outfits around? I think it's a great exercise. So these are my about 25 essential items. We're gonna start with pants. The first thing I would recommend is a pair of dark, slightly faded jeans. Now these are just so versatile. I would recommend either a charcoal or a dark blue. And these dark blue actually could stand to be a little more faded. These are shrink to fits, and I plan to fade them some more as I wear them, but you can start to see that there's some wear happening already. But a dark blue or a dark charcoal just goes with so much stuff. I mean, you can wear this with black, you can wear it with white, you can wear it with everything in between. They're the most versatile colors, and pants are something that you could wear 7 days in a row and nobody would really notice, especially if they're really minimal and versatile like these. Now the next one that I have is a pair of black jeans. And by the way, these are all Levi's 501s, free endorsement there. It's my favorite jean just for my body type. I'm a very slender guy, so it just makes sense on my body. Looks really good. It's a classic straight leg that tends to be on the slimmer side. Now, I would just recommend having one pair at least of all black jeans. Casual, but you can also wear them with like a blazer out and nobody will really bat an eye. I've even worn black jeans to a wedding, don't tell anybody. But one gap in my wardrobe actually is that I think it is nice to have like a pair of, you know, wool or even cotton twill black trousers that you can dress up a little bit more than a jean, you know, without the rivets and stuff. So that's something I actually need to get my hands on. So I'm gonna be looking into a pair of black wool trousers. Next is I would recommend having at least one medium wash kind of pant. It doesn't have to be a jean. This is yet another pair of 501s. You can see that beautiful natural fading on these. I do love these, that medium blue. Another really popular option is some kind of olive green, some kind of military pant. These are OG 107 military issue pants. But just having a medium tone pant can go really well with black or white, especially black. I'll show you right here what I'm wearing today. Just these Carhartt cargos. And you can just see it goes nicely with the black hoodie that I'm wearing. So just good to have for contrast, but not quite as versatile per se as like a darker one. And then light wash, of course, is always an option. I just find that, you know, cream colored or super light blue jeans or things in that kind of tonal range are not necessarily as versatile as a medium or dark wash pant. But again, up to you. Next essential is a tank top. Now this is a Knocker brand tank top. I'm wearing one right now, just a classic rib tank. And I just think that, to be perfectly honest, it just adds some sex appeal to an outfit. And I think that men need to do a little bit more of that. Like in the summer, you can put it on under a button up. In the fall and winter, you can put it on under a hoodie like this. And I just like the way that, like, when you have an open neck, having a little bit of a down draw from the neck just kind of blends more nicely with that open neck than having something all the way up to your neck. Now, there's nothing wrong with having a crew neck under this, but I personally think that with an open front, like a button up or a zip up, it can just kind of draw the eye down and kind of harmonize really well with that. So tank top, rib tank, great. I even wear them on their own in the summer all the time, like with a pair of jeans and some sneakers. I think that's a great look. Next is your plain white tee. It doesn't get any more basic than this, but there's a million options out there, a million details. I've personally landed on the J. Crew garment dye just because I like that it comes in a slub yarn. You can see that kind of textury yarn that it's made out of, those kind of like horizontal stripes. You can see it a little bit better on the inside. Those kind of horizontal stripes that it's made out of in the weave. Anyway, I like the pocket detail. And with my white tees, I tend to like them in a more classic fit that's a little closer to the body, not tight, but just a little bit closer to the body because I like to layer them. And when I'm layering, I don't like them to be all bunched up at the bottom. I like them to hit kind of close to the body, and then I can throw a bigger layer over that and let the bagginess come from the outer layer if I want to go a little bit more relaxed or baggy. But then when it comes to black tees, I actually size one size up. So this is just a blank. This is a Bass American Classics. I got this at the thrift store. But with a black tee, I usually am wearing it on its own. With a white tee, I'm usually wearing it as a layer. With a black tee, I tend to be wearing it on its own. And when it's on its own, I like it to kind of hit midway or even close to the elbow. It just gives it a nice relaxed feel. Plus, black is so slimming that I feel like when you wear a tighter black tee or a more form-fitting black tee, it just makes you look really skinny and pulled in. And I kind of like to have some volume because the black is naturally going to slim itself. So yeah, one size up black tee, that's one of my essentials. Then I would say in the same category, we've now got printed white and black tees. This one I got vintage. It's some like, you know, army marathon thing. This one is Ryuk from Death Note. And again, these are usually worn on their own. So I tend to size up. I'm usually a small, these are a medium. And yeah, they just give me a little bit of that extra volume, a little bit more of that fashionable relaxedness to the silhouette. So, but they also do, I will layer these because they do look good peeking out from something like this, you know, just get a little bit of that graphic coming out. Great option. Black and white just because it's the most versatile in my opinion. You know, I do have other colors. I have certain like maroons and purples and things like that, but I tend to like black and white when it comes to layering. So those are my more essential ones. Next, we have one that doesn't get talked about enough in my opinion, and this is the thermal shirt or the waffle knit. So it's called a waffle knit because, as you can see, it's got that waffle-like texture there, and these are 100% cotton. I prefer that to poly. Polyester just makes me feel kind of like overheated or something. I don't know, I just don't like the feeling, like I feel like my body can't breathe when I have it on. So I like 100% cotton, and these are so great because they're so transitional. So what's cool about these is like I'll throw one in my tote bag because, as you can see, they're not that heavy, but they do keep you warm. And so I'll throw one in my tote bag, and then like on fall or spring days when the weather's changing like it does here in the Pacific Northwest, you know, we might get 3 different climates in one day. And so it's nice to have in my tote bag because I'm not carrying around too much extra weight. I can just throw it on. These are also great for layering under a t-shirt. I particularly like tonal layering. So like even here, I might throw this Ryuk tee right over this charcoal knit there, see? And it just kind of blends nicely. And that's why I like them in charcoal and cream versus black and white. Because if it's not a true white and not a true black, you get that slightly off tonal thing when you mix it with that. And same thing applies here when I take a true white tee and I layer it with the cream thermal. It's just a little bit of separation, and that's kind of a cool thing in my opinion. All right, next we have a plain black crew neck sweater. This is probably the most worn thing in my closet because I wear it all winter. This one is from Uniqlo. You know, I could probably stand to upgrade, but I've worn this for a few years already and it's held up. And to be honest, I like it when they don't hold up. I like to wear my sweaters into the ground. I have a maroon one over there that's completely like full of holes, and I just like that kind of grungy knitwear look. I think that oftentimes knitwear is relegated to this very clean cut kind of preppy aesthetic, but I personally think that knitwear just can be so cool when it's a little either oversized or stretched out in the sleeves, or even like frayed along the edges, or even has big old holes in it. This one has a small hole in the front, and I'm just gonna leave it. I'm not gonna stitch that because I think it adds some character, but that's just me. Another Uniqlo piece, but in general, just having a cardigan, a wool cardigan, in my opinion, is so nice. For the same reason that I'm wearing this hoodie, it just gives you some layering options because you can have the open neck, you can have the entirely open front, you can throw it over even a tank top, you can throw it over a printed tee. I've thrown this over a hoodie before, like a black hoodie with black jeans, and then the kind of forest green color really just kind of sets it off, just a couple tone differences, and I think that's a really cool outfit there. So lots of options. Layering is always going to give you options, give you multiple ways to wear one or two things. And cardigans are great for that. Again, like this thing kind of tends toward a preppy or clean cut aesthetic, but that's not me whatsoever. And I found lots of cool ways to wear this. So, you know, think Kurt Cobain at MTV Unplugged. You don't have to make a cardigan look preppy if you don't want to. It can also look great preppy. Next is a blazer. So I think a slim black blazer is probably your best bet. This one is just a cheap, you know, John Varvatos Star USA blazer, but it's got a really nice slim cut fit. It's got that slim peak lapel. You can go with a notched lapel too. I just like the peak because it's a little more pizzazz. But this is great, especially if you're like a city kid and you're going out to dinner. I mean, you can just throw this on over, say, like a black t-shirt even, and it will just dress it up that much more, you know? But at the same token, I've worn this blazer to weddings over a white button-up shirt. So very versatile piece, good to have. You can class up a casual outfit, you can go full classy, pair it with trousers, you know? Again, I sneaked into a wedding with this and black jeans and nobody batted an eye. So very versatile piece. Now this is one that I recently acquired, and this is a dark, like midnight navy Oscar de la Renta studio blazer, and I believe that's a women's line from like the late 80s, early 90s, but look at how low the stance is on that notch lapel, and just the overall feeling of it is kind of slouchy and oversized. And so again, it'll serve in the same kind of situations, but this is a little more of like a fashion forward, whereas the other one is more slim and fitted and timeless. This one would be more of like a statement with that slouchy fit, but would still work in the same situations. Dinner, you know, anything semi-formal, throw it on over a nice black t-shirt, it would look great. Next is a medium to dark blue denim jacket. Now this is a perfect example of an item that I have slowly upgraded over time. I've probably owned, like, this is probably my fourth dark blue denim jacket, and this is my favorite so far because it has a really boxy fit that allows me to move around. I have broad shoulders, so I'm really happy with this one. This is Lucky Star brand. I just bought it at a vintage shop, and it just goes so well with, I mean, as you can see, goes great with black when you have this kind of medium tone, medium to dark. So I would totally wear this with black jeans. You could even dress it up by wearing it with like a black trouser and a black lace up. And now let's continue on outerwear. This is the Alpha Industries MA1 flight bomber jacket. And you've probably seen these around a lot. They had a really good run in like the mid 2010s in terms of trendiness. Vetements put their own take on like an oversized version. Kanye wore them all the time. And they're just like they have kind of a poofy feeling to it. I personally like that, to like kind of contrast that poofiness with a pair of slim denim, but they also look good with wide denim. I mean, it's just a very classic piece. There's so many pieces that came from either workwear or the military, meaning they had very functional uses, and then that just became fashionable. So much of fashion history is that. You know, you think of like the trench coat. A lot of stuff is from the military or from workwear. The Carhartt pant that everyone's wearing now, workwear. Denim, Levi's, that comes from workwear. So yeah, you really can't go wrong with this. It just is such a classic silhouette. The lack of a collar means that it looks super good over a hoodie, and I just love to wear it. I haven't stopped wearing those since 2016 when I got my first one. Finally, this is the North Face Nuptse. I would just recommend, getting some kind of black puffer because it's just so versatile for winter. Nothing fancy here. I just like the Nuptse because it's shorter in the body and I'm a shorter guy, so that's flattering to my shape. I don't want a big, long, trailing thing. And just the shape of it overall is very flattering. It gives you a nice kind of bold, boxy fit. And now let's finish off on accessories and shoes. So that is another weak point in my wardrobe. I want to get more jewelry. Right now I tend to wear a rounded box chain with either my military pendant, or not in the military, by the way, or my jade pendant, just a dog tag style pendant, right? And the other thing is to just get a baseball cap that fits your head really well. So I found that a general rule of thumb when it comes to the different shapes of baseball caps out there is that if you have a really structured face like mine, it's very angular, very square, then something that lacks structure kind of balances that out. So something like this, dad hat style baseball cap. So I just thrifted this one. This is the 47 brand cleanup. And I actually got this one customized with the name of my hometown that I grew up in. So that's nice. I just like them in black or navy. But if you have more of a soft jaw or more of a rounded face, I found that something like a 5950, just something that with that kind of boxiness, or like a trucker hat, tends to balance that out. So it's kind of like glasses. I find that going with the opposite of your face shape is really flattering. But wear whatever you want, as always. And now let's finish with shoes. So one of the most essential shoes, in my opinion, for anybody is a black boot. This is the Palladium Pampa High. These were developed for the French Foreign Legion. I believe that they use the same rubber that they use for like aircraft landing tires on that sole. These are very durable. I've worn them for years. Again, I think I started wearing these in like 2016. Haven't stopped wearing them since. So I just have a black pair, but any kind of black boot is just gonna go so well with any of these kind of darkish pants that you wear. Even these medium wash pants. Just super versatile, would get you through the fall and winter. I probably need something that's a little more winter ready, something like a Timberland or whatever, or a Blundstone, but these for now have been doing me just fine. Then this is possibly the most essential item in my closet, is a black and white plimsoll style sneaker. Plimsoll meaning something like a Converse or a Vans authentic, just that classic lace-up silhouette. I prefer something a little heavier and sturdier, made of leather. So these are the Camper Payu, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, Payu Stadium High. And I would actually prefer to own the Rick Owens Ramones, but I do love that kind of weird organic shape on the sole of these, and the fact that the toe is nice and big and round. So yeah, these are nice. These go with so much. The fact that they have black and white just helps them go with so many different colors of pants. There's really not a pant that these would look bad with. And the fact that they're high top means that the pant can just go right over it, creating a nice, long, straight line. And finally, we just have a low top white sneaker. Now, I am very partial to the Adidas Stan Smith. I think that this is like the perfect middle ground in terms of silhouette. Like, it's not too slim, it's not too chunky. It just goes with like wide, it goes with super wide pants, goes with super slim pants, even goes with skinny jeans. I mean, this is just like right up there with, the Converse All-Star, the Vans Authentic, in terms of just super classic, super time-tested sneakers. One last one that I forgot because I'm wearing it is a black hoodie. Now, I'm currently partial to a zip-up. I've also got a pullover, but I just like the fact that the zip-up gives you the option to layer and show some stuff underneath, or you can just zip it up all the way. This one is from Uniqlo. I just gotta say, like, I like the way a lot of Uniqlo stuff fits, and so they tend to be kind of my fallback. I know it's technically fast fashion, but everything I buy from them, I end up wearing for at least like 5 years. So I find that it's a lot more durable than those other fast fashion brands, and at the end of the day, it's about your consumer spending habits, because there are very few brands out there that are truly ethical. But I find that with certain other fast fashion retailers, you buy the stuff and it's falling apart within a matter of months, or it's just made of like 100%, cheap synthetic plasticky materials. So I find that in general, Uniqlo makes very basic oriented, very like timeless kinds of items that I can wear for years at a time. And so I only buy like probably, 3 to 5 things from them a year, if that, and they last me super long. And it's usually things like plain t-shirts, plain hoodies, etc. So those are my essentials. I am honestly so passionate about this topic, so if you comment your essentials below, I'm actually gonna look into those because I love seeing the things that people just keep coming back to time after time. I love the concept of editing a wardrobe. So again, the more support I get on these videos, the more I'm gonna make. I would love to be making multiple ones a week, but as for now, tune in every Monday. I'll be releasing a new video. So please like, subscribe, all that supportive stuff, and thank you for watching.